are you enjoying your unfulfilled desires? Are you able to find pleasure in those manifestations that haven't manifested yet? Because if you can find pleasure in something before it manifests, then it has to manifest. It's inevitable. And not only is it inevitable, it's really fast. It comes to you really fast. If you like thinking about your desire because of the way it makes you feel, then you understand the law of attraction. You understand everything. And that's usually what the geniuses of your planet are doing. They think about their dreams not to make it happen, but because they like the idea of it. And usually it's because they're living in environments of contrast. And in those environments of contrast, they give birth to such a vortex. And it's that vortex that really gets them through each moment. It gets them through the contrast. They like the dream because it's pleasurable, and that's what we want for you. We want the dream to be pleasurable. We want the manifestation in its idea form, in its dream form, in it's not here yet, but I can feel it. I can look into this vibrational reality and tune into it and feel the emotion of it. We want that to be enough. Because if you're able to find pleasure before it manifests, then you're living the happy life. Then when you're in those, in those groups of people who are complaining, you can't relate, because they're not catching up with their desires. They're not even keeping up with them at all. They're not feeling good about their manifestations because they haven't manifested. And so because they haven't manifested yet, they can't find pleasure in it. And so they're kind of stuck. They're in a sort of a vibrational limbo where they're just waiting for something to happen. And since it never really does happen, then they're not really going to shift how they feel. And since they don't shift how they feel, because how they feel can only be shifted if they see something that shifts their emotional response, then they can manifest what they want. But usually, since they're lazy, because that's what it is. When you're a lazy, sort of sloppy thinker, then you just want reality to look at and observe and just be okay with that. But when you're a creator, then you're among those groups of people who are complaining and you can't relate, because you're able to find pleasure. You're able to dream the dream. And this is the thing is, you're not dreaming the dream. You're not thinking the thought about what you want. You're not keeping it alive in your mind, because law of attraction doesn't know what you want. It's not like that at all. Thing is, your inner being knows what you want and knows how to get you there, given your resistance, and knows where you stand right now and the path of least resistance right where you want to go. And usually it's not, you don't go directly to what you want, because you have resistance along your path. But that doesn't mean that it takes a long time. It just means that the road is sort of paved with a lot more adventure than you think it is, because you think that it's just about getting to the manifestation. And so that's kind of what screws you over a little in your thinking, because then you think, okay, if I can think enough, then I can get it. But the thing is, you've already manifested it. And usually when you have this sort of approach of, okay, I'm gonna just process my way to what I want into oblivion, then usually you're trying to overcompensate for something. You're trying to overcome something, and usually there's resistance in the mix. And sometimes that resistance is you don't really believe it's gonna happen, so you try to sort of berate your mind and you try to keep it active in your mind, and you're very diligent in the way that you think. Well, it's not that you're diligent in the way that you think. It's just that you're thinking about your desire from a place of absence, from a place of worry, from a place of not believing in it. So you think that if I think about it more, if I make it sound as good as I can in my mind, and if I can just keep it alive in my mind and keep thinking about it over and over again, then that's the thing. If it feels urgent, then maybe it's ready to manifest, or maybe you're just feeling too energetic about it, but you're not able to keep up with the energy, so it's kind of hurting you. Because when there's a desire that you're keeping up with, then you're satisfied right now. You see, when you're dreaming about your desire, not to make it happen, but to enjoy yourself, then you understand this. Then you're just spending more moments in your time, in your life, in your day, just happy, just satisfied. That satisfaction factor really is so important in manifestation, because the thing is, you're the receiver of the vibration. You have to be the receiver of it. So we're not really here to talk about creating. We're not here to it's not really about how to create your life. This is about understanding that you've already created the life that you wanted, that you've been wanting. You've already been creating. It has already been created, and everything up until this point is in your vortex and is ready for you to receive. But the thing is, what's in that vortex is not gonna be enough for forever. It's just gonna be enough for now, and then you're gonna have more contrast. You're going to amend your desires. You're gonna ask for new things. You're gonna get a big house, and then you're gonna want a house with more stuff in it and more kitchen space, and then there's gonna be more homes in your vortex. You see how? So it's not so much about getting there, and that's the thing, is that it's not about getting there, because you don't ever really get there, because you really are eternal. So what is it really about? It's about allowing, and allowing really is, it comes down to, how do you feel about your desire even though that it's not here? So if you're hesitant in your answer because you're like, it feels good but mostly the absence really bothers me, then that's not a manifestation that pretty much you're on the wavelength of. Because when you're on the wavelength of that vibration, then you're enjoying that manifestation. But usually, if you're not enjoying that manifestation, it could be because it's not coming, and since it's not coming, then you think that you're doing something wrong. But the thing is, it's really just your perception, and you could you could soothe that perception of it's not coming with the dream of it. And that's why daydreaming is so powerful, because when you're a kid, daydreaming is just naturally where you go. Because instead of waiting for, reality to change, you're just going to the change in your mind, because you naturally understand that life caused you and helped you create a vortex, and you could go into the wavelength of the vortex where you now sat, and start to receive images in the form of images and manifestations. And those daydreams, they were powerful because they're non-resistant thoughts, right? It's non-resistant. Daydreaming is just about letting your mind go and letting yourself dream the dream, because if you can dream the dream because of how it makes you feel, then you understand all this. Then everything is really easy. Then life is just easy breezy. Then you know what other people are always saying. They're saying that it just seems like you get everything, and you're like, yeah, because I just dream the dream because it feels good, because I'm up to speed, because it's so easy for me to think positively, because I just know how to dream. I know how to dream. I know how not to kill my dreams, because you know what always kills your dreams? Thinking that you need to dream the dream to make it happen. Because when you try to manifest something from the place of not noticing that it's been happening, so you're trying to process your way, then the fact that it's not happening, what you're trying to overcome, that resistance, is always active in your vibration. But how do you get rid of that? Well, you have to first accept that there's a vibrational reality, and that your inner being is standing there right now, and that you don't have to do anything. You've already done all the work. But see, that's the thing. You came into this life experience knowing that, hey, I already did all the creation. And not only that, when I would want something, it would always be given to me. And it would always be sort of a vibrational reality. It would always be given to me. It would always be something that I could experience. And not only I would experience, no matter how big or how small the desire. If life could cause me to want something, then life, this reality, this time and space, would have the wherewithal, all the materials, all the capability to literally give it all to me. And that's what we're saying. So you understood that. You had that you read the contract, and you sort of had that understanding, hey, if life caused me to want something, I can have it. So now that you're here, you still need to operate under that same presence. But the thing is, it doesn't feel like that because you're used to efforting. What we're saying is that the only reason why you effort is because there's resistance. But when you try to overcome resistance, then it can never really work. You see, and that's why manifestations seem like they're slow in coming, because instead of trying to just dream the dream and just go into a fresh place where there's no resistance, aka the daydream state, you're trying to fix it. And there is a purpose, and there is a really good promise when you do spend time to clean up your energy, especially when it's something that is really bothering you. But what we're saying is, you don't need to do anything. All you need to do, if there's anything that you need to do, is just be happy, right? All you have to do is feel good, because when you're feeling good, then you're on the wavelength. All deliberate creation is really about is literally finding the frequency of what you want and staying there long enough that what's on that frequency can reveal itself to you. But I think it's already been revealed, so it's better to say that it's like you can start to receive it, you can start to realize it, you can start to understand, you can start to translate it and experience what's on that frequency. And so that's the thing. If you dream the dream because it feels good, then that's success. And not only is it success because you're feeling satisfied in the moment, right? Because when a dream is enough, when an emotion is enough, when the vibrational version is enough, you're feeling satisfied where you now stand. And look at those who are successful. That's how they are. They're satisfied with where they are. And yes, many of them will tell you, I act a lie, I work really hard. But it's not really about what you're doing with your action, because action, when it's not inspired from the vortex, is action that's very puny in comparison to action that is so much more powerful when it's coming from the vortex. So what are we really saying? We're saying, think about what you want, but only think about it because of how it makes you feel. Don't think about it because it's gonna make it come faster, you see? And so you can't go back, and so you can't hold back either. And the message is never hold back. The message isn't just stay still and don't think about anything, because if you think about something, then you're gonna mess it up. It's not like that at all. We're not even it's so important to understand that you really are such a powerful creator, and you know the difference between a thought that feels good and a thought that doesn't feel good, and you're literally getting feedback. So you're pretty much equipped in the best experience ever, where you're not only seeing your vibration, but you're able to feel it before it manifests into the physical reality. So you can catch it early, you can choose, you can get out ahead of it, you can spend more time daydreaming. So now it doesn't just feel like you're just putting out fires all the time. Now it feels like when the fire does come, it's just like a blip, like it's something that doesn't really bother you, because contrast is not a bad thing, but contrast is inherently uncomfortable, because you have to leave your vortex in order to experience contrast. But the thing about contrast is that when you know what you want, then you could just only think about what you want, but you're not used to that. You're kind of thinking about what you can see, which is the fact that it's not here, and I really don't want this. You're used to pushing against, but you can let go of that. You can gradually just deactivate and leave in a place to never really return to ever again. So think about everything that you want. It's not about being in a state of meditation all the time. It's about understanding that I have this vortex and I'm going to receive what's in this vortex, and that's amazing. I'm so happy. And since I can have everything that I want, what is it that I do want? And so feel the dream and think about the dream because it's just how it makes you feel, and love how it makes you feel because that really is the manifestation that you're actually looking for.